All right, what's going on, boys and girls? So I'm gonna try doing a little more vloggy type stuff from time to time. This was actually, especially with stuff that comes to mind very quickly, and I apologize for the quality of these. Um, there was a conversation I recently got into on Telegram about music. I mentioned an artist, and someone had mentioned they didn't like him. I'm totally cool with that. There's plenty of music I listen to, like that people are not gonna like. There's plenty of stuff out there that other people are gonna listen to that I'm not gonna like. Music is subjective. Music is like any other art form. It's all subjective. So to me, when people complain about like a genre, they'll complain about country or hip hop or any of this other stuff. And the way I look at it is the founding is the core. The thing that makes something is that being lost. And that's really how you have to judge it. So for me, I grew up in Maine. So I'm very familiar with a certain way of life, a certain way and a certain viewpoint that I might not necessarily share, but I understand. Having that understanding allows me to appreciate potentially where some other people who might have different musical tastes than me are coming from. Northern Maine tends to be more, they prefer country music, and that's because that talks too more about what they like and understand and their way of life and that kind of stuff. Whereas for me, I'm more of like a mid Maine, a little closer to Southern Maine guy. So for me, I'm more of I prefer metalcore, so I'm more of a Killswitch Engage, All That Remains, Aftershock, I Prevail, Asking Alexandria, like those kind of bands. Even some of the screamo, emo, quote unquote, punk bands like Atreyu or Under Oath or Trivium or some of these other bands are other ones that I'm into too, because that's the sound I grew up on. Like that's where I found where I really was passionate about music, as far as like my ear to listen to it. But that doesn't change the fact that I also like hip hop. I like certain R&B artists. I even like some pop artists and pop stuff. I draw influences from every aspect because to me, as long as something doesn't lose its core values, its core soul, and in those traditions and the legacy of those traditions is able to stay held onto, your music can grow because it makes your music timeless because it's relatable. I can relate to this because that's a way of life I understand. That's how I felt growing up in that situation. That's how I felt growing up there in that situation. That is really how you determine whether something's good or bad. When I look at music, that's how I view music, because music is like Linux distributions. You're never gonna fully understand a genre or like a way of things have changed, etc., unless you dive into it and look at it and understand it. It's this weird thing called experience. Just like I listen to stuff that I don't like, but I can also listen to stuff and appreciate and understand why somebody might like it. There's when I listen to rap or hip hop, whatever you want to call it, I look for stuff that has substance. I'm a big Locksmith fan. I'm a big Sick World fan. I like people who put out stuff with substance that has connotation and meaning. Another one is Chase. There's a lot of guys that I like in that genre, but they have to have a certain cadence. They have to have a certain sound to me, and they have to have something that I can relate to, be it through like personal experience and that kind of stuff. Whereas if I just stick to a genre that's all I listen to, that limits me as a human. Because to me, again, the short version of all of this 5 minute video is going to be is if you are closed minded in your music, it shows that you're closed-minded in life. And that says a lot about somebody. So that's just my take on music. What do you guys think? What do you guys like for genres? What do you guys like for artists? Throw it down in the comments. You guys know what to do. Appreciate you. Catch you on the flip. Peace.